Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the problem, Mikey McKinson. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very, very well, myself. I mean, last year for you, a really active and promising year. Are you happy with what you achieved in 2023?
I wouldn't say happy because I know what I'm capable of, and I know I should be in bigger fights, more important fights. Um, but I'm happy. I'm active and I'm healthy. Um, I had three fights in 2022 and three fights in 2023 as well. Um, Kind of the comeback trail last year, taking my first defeat August 2022. But since then, I've had four fights, two stop, or like I've had four fights, four wins. I've stopped two of them. I think since my loss to Ortiz, I've boxed 28 rounds in a professional ring and I've won 27 of them. So, not really put a foot wrong.
Yeah, well, can't be too much better. What was the reaction like to the defeat? Was it easy to get back on the horse, or did you kind of need a little bit of time to get yourself set?
It was tough. I went to Texas very, very confident. I worked very hard and I really did think I could pull it off. And I'm a proud guy. So it was a tough night for me. Like taking the L for the first time. And um, I feel like because I tasted what it's like at the top in boxing, going to America, headlining, things like that, it made me more motivated.
Hmm.
So I didn't want to end that year. I could have. I got paid great. I could have just chilled out for a little bit of time, but I didn't want to end that year, 2022, with that loss. So I managed to push to be able to fight before the year was out and got straight back on the horse and carried on, carried on. So yeah, it like we just look at what's forward now. I've done great things and stuff to be proud of, but I'm not even 30 yet, so there's plenty more years in me.
Did you almost learn more from the experience out there and the experience in the ring with Virgil Ortiz than some of the victories you've had? They say you learn more in defeat than you do from winning.
Of course, yeah, of course. I stepped up a lot of levels that night, and I didn't look out of place. Didn't look out of place. I was winning rounds. I won rounds with Ortiz. I uh, I was doing all right in the fight before I got the injury and stuff like that, which obviously that's how the fight ended, a hip injury. But um, I was winning rounds and I didn't look out of place. I took him further than anybody. Uh, and I feel like I gave a great account of myself into world boxing. So that's the level I belong at. Like not the level I've been fighting at since. Like I belong at world level.
You mentioned the level you've been fighting at since. Are you disappointed that it's been at that sort of level and the bigger opportunities haven't come a bit sooner?
Yeah, a little bit. The last guy I thought was probably the best opponent. He was undefeated in 11 with 9 knockouts, but unknown, not very experienced, and yeah, not a name. So like I'm walking through these guys and I'm beating them easy. Like I need a challenge again.
You talk about needing a challenge, setting out the goals for 2024. Last year, you say was a rebuilding year. What do you want to achieve this year?
It was a real rebuilding year, but not no fault of my own. I was ready to jump back in with the big names. I was calling out Avanesyan since May last year. I wanted that to happen last year. It hasn't happened yet for whatever reason. But that's what I want. I'm very serious about that as well. If not him, them names like that type of level. Opponents where people ain't necessarily backing me in the fight. They're the fights I want to be in.
There aren't many people jumping to call out David Avanesyan. You're one of a very select group. Why is that in particular?
Because I'm different. I'm cut different than most of them. People want to be looked after too much. People want to be in their comfort zone too much, and like especially the year I went to the States for Ortiz, like I know I can compete at that level, but I don't get many opportunities. Every opportunities that come my way, I have to take. So I thought, who don't people want to fight? And that's David Avanesyan. So I called him out thinking it'd be an easy fight to get. And we're however many months down the line and I've still not got it.
I guess the assumption is when it's somebody that maybe finds a big fight hard to get. We know that some of the top boys have actively avoided David Avanesyan. When he's offered a fighter like yourself, it's a case of, oh, jump at the opportunity. Why do you think that hasn't been the case?
At the beginning, their team was very interested in the fight, his team, as well as my team. We thought we were going into camp to fight each other for December, just gone. I spent a bit of money on the camp as well, thinking I've got to prepare for David Avanesyan, and then for whatever reason, Sky Sports didn't make it happen. But from what I'm told, they're still interested in making that fight. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I know that David's team was very, very enthusiastic to get the fight early doors. Now they don't seem interested.
Do you still believe that fight happens?
I hope so. I don't think David's got a lot of options. Since he lost to Crawford, was 13 months ago. No, more than that now, probably like 14, 15 months ago he lost to Crawford. He's only fought a 6-rounder against a journeyman on a Wednesday night in Birmingham. So I don't think he has got a lot of options, and I don't think his manager's got much for him. It must be tough, but I am here and like I'm willingly calling him out. We travelled up. I drove three hours to Birmingham on the cold, rainy Wednesday night before Christmas to watch him fight a journeyman. Not because I thought the fight would have been interesting, but just to prove that that's the fight I'm chasing. And for whatever reason, I'm putting all my eggs into the David Avanesyan one and trying to make that happen. For whatever reason, if it doesn't happen, I want somebody of that caliber, that level, rather than an unknown guy again.
A name that was long linked with you was Florian Maru, and he's now going to be facing, as we know, Chris Congo, a former opponent of yours. What do you make of that fight?
I don't think Florian's ever been kind of linked with me and talks in maybe possibility of getting it on. Obviously, it's a fight. Being a rival, I would love to. I think it'd be quite an easy fight for me. But from early on, his manager has quite clearly said that they don't want Michael McKinson. I've seen in an interview before. Congo, obviously, is the guy that gave me my chance, which catapulted my career. I think them two guys have actually been linked to fight my brother, Lucas Ballingall, within the last 6 months. Both of them as well. But obviously, Maru versus Congo is a great fight for British boxing. I think there's a lot of people talking about it. And I'm sure they'll deliver a great fight. But I've beat up Congo a few years ago, and I think Maru would be an easy fight. I don't know who I think would win the fight, if I'm honest, because since I beat Congo, Congo hasn't really done anything. He beat Formella, but he's lost again to Esserman, and Maru is getting better. He seems to be getting better as well, so it evens it up for me.
With Florian Maru, he got a lot of praise and a lot of platform early in his career, but that seems to have stalled a little bit over the last couple of years. Do you believe he's sort of all he's made out to be, or?
I think he's a very popular guy. He obviously trains properly. He's with a good team. I'd never see the hype in him. He was just a popular guy. He obviously struggled a few times early in his career and stuff like that. And I think if I was in the ring with Florian Maru, I think it'd be an easy night's work for myself, if I'm honest. Like, that's why I'm saying my brother Lucas Ballingle is on the hunt for welterweight names. He was the English champion at 140. He's moved up, and he's actually said yes to fight Chris Congo. He's also said yes to fight Florian Maru, believe it or not, in the last 6 months, and they haven't been able to deliver. So give the winner the win.
On the back of Conor Benn's victory over Peter Dobson, there are a lot of names mentioned with him. Those over in the US, the likes of Boots Ennis, Devin Haney, of course, now has a fight. There were a couple over here as well, and was one of the names that was sort of thrown into the hat. Was that fight that you would really push for if it was on the table?
No, to be honest, I've pushed for the fight for 7 years. Like every other welterweight in the UK. Everyone wants the Conor Benn fight, let's face it, and I know it's not going to happen. Like Conor, when I've met him a good few times, and he's always so nice and polite, respectful guy. Put a camera in front of him, he's a different person. Put a camera in front of him, and he's a different person. He's good for boxing. He's a great character. I think he plays his role, but I don't know. Like, I did tweet him after the Dobson fight the other week, and he bit. I don't know if you see that. He did bite. I just think I wasn't saying. I said to him, "Welcome to the Pillowfist Club," because since he's come back from his egg problem, he's not been knocking out these average 147s. He's looked sharp, but it gets to like after round 4 or 5, and you kind of know he's not gonna. He can't knock these guys out. And I think that Dobson was a sitting duck for him last week. So I did go on there, and I did thought I'd wind him up a little bit, and that's not me saying, because listen, I don't portray myself as a big puncher, whereas Conor Benn portrays himself as a angry KO killing machine guy, when realistically, since his comeback, he's nothing like that.
Have you seen a noticeable change since before his time out and now? Because pre-ban, the likes of Samuel Vargas, Chris Algieri, Van Heerden, he was getting rid of them, but he's come back and
he walked through of them. Yeah, what was that, 2 years ago? He walked through them guys 2-3 years ago. Now, if he fought that Dobson 2-3 years ago, he would have walked straight through him. He would have.
What do you believe would happen? Go on.
Dobson was a sitting target for him. He was there for Conor to knock him out, and he couldn't.
Do you believe he's ready for another step up?
Conor? I know he was talking the names like Crawford, Boots Ennis. Do I really think he would have fought him? No. Like, he stands more of a chance fighting the smaller guys. Like, calling out elite fighters at his weight, he doesn't stand a chance. No chance. He's not a world elite fighter, Conor Benn isn't. Whereas he stands more of a chance calling out the 135s, elite guys like Tank and Devin Haney and stuff, because he'd be a lot bigger than them. Like, so yeah, that's what I think of that.
Before he gets to that sort of world level, do you feel like there's still a couple of fights to have, a couple of bridges to go? And I think lots of people would like to see you as one of those fights he's in.
If not me, like, the domestic 147s is lit up right now. There's loads of names. And one thing that is a question mark on Conor Benn's name is he hasn't fought anybody in that domestic scene. So why don't he fight somebody domestically, see how good he actually is, and then if he's successful, move up. Like, I've beat Congo and things like that. But look, there's Congo, there's myself, there's Harry Scarf, there's like Lewis Crocker. Fight one of us, Conor. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Josh Kelly as well. Another name mentioned. If he's still at the weight, there's options, aren't
Yeah,
there?
well, he's 154, isn't he? But there's talk Conor Benn's has been linked to fight anyone from 135 to 160, and he so who knows?
Do you think he would need to come back to the UK for a big fight? We've seen the last two fights obviously happened in the US. You know, we've got the appeal from the board still to go through. We're expecting to hear about that towards the end of this month to sort of maintain his star figure. Does he need to be back in the UK?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of people that's as enthusiastic to follow him fighting over there and stuff like that. I know there's people that have lost interest in Conor Benn since it's all happened and stuff like that, and he probably does feel like he's got his back against the wall a little bit, or at least he always feels like people are against him. But who knows? Who knows? I do think there has been a change in Conor Benn, but that's my opinion.
Last one for yourself. We've seen the success that Chris Smith's had on the South Coast, getting his big fights at Bournemouth. You're obviously a big Pompey fan. Is that really the dream for you, Fratton Park?
That is my ultimate dream in boxing. If I can make that happen, that would be unreal. Like, it'll probably happen one day. I just want it to happen for me in my career. I've been kind of leading the way for Portsmouth boxing for the last few years. There's some great fighters coming through as well, so would love that to happen one day. And that is the goal, yeah.
Not just for you, but all the fighters from Portsmouth that would gain the exposure, and obviously the surrounding areas that would gain from a big show in the city.
The whole of Portsmouth, boxing fans and non-boxing fans, are all waiting to see me fight there. I can't walk up the street without it being mentioned. When's Fratton Park? So hopefully I'll get a couple of good wins and put myself in a nice little position to make that dream a reality.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully we get to see the Avanesyan fight and we can move on to some big things, hopefully at Fratton Park.
That is the fight I'm very much trying to get. And it's been a fight that the main fight that I've thought about since May last year. So yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Cheers for your time, Mikey.
That's one, mate.